Welcome everyone to, I don't even know which one to call this. I guess we'll call it one-on-one, even though it's not the one-on-one day. But I know it's been a while since I've been on with you guys, and I apologize for that. It's been a very chaotic, shall we say, last couple of months. With my grandmother's passing, with Percy's passing, with everything that's gone on, and I haven't felt the desire to really come in front of you guys and answer questions or discuss stuff or really anything of that nature. So I apologize for that. But after seeing the lackluster, shall we say, crowd and lackluster card at WrestleMania not deliver even what it could have, and then seeing Raw the next night basically be a 3-hour, we're sorry for last night's bullshit, here's something better, I decided, you know what, wrestling needs more discussion shows again, and here I be. First of all, I want to thank you guys for your undying support, your unwavering support for the most part. There's been a few detractors, but whatever, that have stuck with me and been patient and pretty much blew their wad when they saw me on the Roundtable preview show with the Constantine Studios, which is actually where I'm filming right now, in case you couldn't tell. I was still really not in the frame of mind to do a show yet, and I figured, you know what, I'm just going to do that round table and see how it goes, and sure as shit, the people went crazy, and I loved it, and then they went even crazier on the post-show. And just to clarify, I'm sure JD's going to do this on Renegade as well, but I am not back with the D18 Studios full-time. I'll be working with them probably once a month, and also filming some shows within the studio here, as far as like one-on-one, best of the best, and weekly wrap-up, whatever the hell I called that other show. Because it's been on since I filmed the show, so I don't remember. Wrestling Rewind, that's what it was. But for the most part, I'll just be on this channel, my own channel, doing my own thing. But on the roundtables, either once a month, depending on if the pay-per-view is good, twice a month, depending on the TNA's offerings. Or, oh no, TNA's only doing it every so often now, that's true. Well, when TNA does one, we'll do one for that. How about that? But we'll definitely be on the major pay-per-views, and including Money in the Bank. That's our pay-per-view around here. We love Money in the Bank. That's probably going to be our next pay-per-view buy here. It's going to be Money in the Bank, because we don't care about Extreme Rules or whatever the May and June offerings will be. Alright, enough bullshit. It's time to get to y'all's submissions. There weren't a whole lot, I'm sad to say. I was kind of disappointed in the fact that a whole lot of people didn't really bite at the fact that Jeff's coming back, and that you guys probably think I was full of shit when I said I was going to be doing a show the next couple days. So, excuse me, I apologize. But you're wrong, I'm here, so let's get to the Twitter DMs from Sean Proctor first, because I got those relatively quick. He's got two. Will WWE ever acknowledge Chris Benoit in any way again? Is his first question. Acknowledge? No. Purposely highlight? No. Occasionally feature in a match that he's involved in and they want for their DVD purposes? Yes. You notice, on the Elimination Chamber matches, on the Satan's Prison DVD, he's on 2 of those matches. So they do put him in there. They didn't edit out commentary about him. They didn't edit out, you know, his entrance or anything like that. He's still in the match. So they are taking the steps. However, to honestly expect WWE to acknowledge at the end of the day, in their eyes, a double murderer and a suicide perpetrator is not going to happen, you guys. I've said that countless times in the last almost 6 years. I mean, can you believe that? It's been 6 years since the Benoit tragedy. It's just not going to happen. And you guys need to understand that, and unfortunately just get the hell over it. Now, this one bugged me, and I'm sorry, Sean, but it did. Other than Hogan slamming Andre and Eddie and Chris's hug at WrestleMania 20, Rock Cena 2 was the best Mania moment for me. Where would you rank it? Sean, did you watch Rock Cena 2? Did you see the match? I'll give you the moment after, and maybe that's what you're talking about, is the moment after where they acknowledge each other's greatness, shook hands, hugged it out, did the whole thing. But yeah, remember, Hogan Andre was a horrible match too. But the moment of slamming is what made it. If you're talking about the moment, then I'll give it to you because it was a really cool moment. It wasn't my favorite because I'm not a big Dwayne fan. You guys know this now. You probably haven't known it as much because I've been back in 2 months, but I've been very much an anti-Rock guy from the moment he came back, really, at the Raw, in February of 2011. But if you guys have been watching the 18 Studios shows the last 2 years, you know where I stand on The Rock. And I'm not his biggest fan. And for him to continually slam John, and vice versa, in the media, in real life, everything like that, and then for them to just hug and kiss and make nice, that was bullshit, I thought. It was made for a nice little touchy-feely, feeling-good moment at the end of WrestleMania 29, but whoop-de-doo, Basil. You really need that every single time? No. John needed to be the bad guy, and he was for a brief, fleeting moment in that match. And a brief, fleeting moment the next night on Raw. And then he just shat in our face again. So, no, I wouldn't rank it as one of the best Mania moments at all. No. The best WrestleMania moment, in my opinion, was, as you said, the Eddie and Chris hug WrestleMania 20. That made for such a great, real moment between two best friends who had both obtained the highest honor that they can in their respective brand of WWE. So that was real. Alright, enough of that shit. Let's see, what else we got here? Okay, this is from MikeX270 on Twitter. He's got quite a few here, so let's see. I know Raw's crowd on Monday was more smarky than usual, and they don't happen every week, but do you see WWE using the crowd reaction to Fandango to take him to a different direction, or will they go back to business as usual and push him as an arrogant heel? Well, I've not seen SmackDown yet, so I don't know what they did on SmackDown. But it'll be interesting to see if the crowd in Boston, who is, supposedly very pro-Cena, yeah, right, does the da-da-da-da-da on the show. If they do that, then we'll see where Fandango goes come next Monday. But that crowd was very much a Canada-like crowd, very bizarro world, and I don't think they're going to use that crowd to gauge further pushes, further storylines. They're just going to say, you know what, it was a weird night, they were in a bad mood, they were in a feisty mood, let it go. Do you think WWE called an audible and changed the finish in the Barrett-Miz match on Raw? If not, and Wade was supposed to go over anyway, why have Miz win the WrestleMania pre-show, just drop the next night? Well, not to toot my own frickin' horn here, but because I called this on the pre-show roundtable that we did. I said they use the pre-show now on YouTube, Facebook, Yahoo, WWE.com, the WWE app, all that, to garner people in to buying WrestleMania. What better way to pop a buy from a somewhat on the fence buyer or not than to have the championship change hands on the pre-show? Well, shit, they're going to do this on the pre-show. They might do something really huge on the main show. I'm going to buy this shit right now. That's where they call the audible, in my opinion. But they want Barrett with the IC, and they put it back with him the next night on Raw. That's why they did that, in my opinion. And Mike has a non-wrestling question for me. Do you think the Kings can get past the Blackhawks in the Western Conference Finals? I don't see Minnesota, Vancouver, St. Louis, or potentially Anaheim being a huge problem, but Chicago scares me a bit. Well, I'm going to make every Kings fan and every Ducks fan shit their britches right now because Anaheim is a huge problem. The Ducks are a threat. They have been a threat all year. There's a reason that Chicago is 1 and the Ducks are 2, and the Ducks are damn near 1. They have been at the front of the heap all season long. In this short, ridiculously compact, bum rush season, they've been right up there at the forefront. And anybody that discounts the Ducks right now, whether I like the sons of bitches or not, is highly irrelevant because I give them credit. They are pushing toward another run. And they may just win the friggin' cup and make me puke the entire summer, but that's okay. Because JJ will be happy and Mikey will be happy, so that's okay. If I got to spend the summer vomiting, I'll be ready for school and have a clean colonic system by then, so it's okay. Now, Chicago is a problem as well. Chicago, the Blackhawks have been the top team in the league off and on all season, and there's no discounting their greatness as well, but they've been slipping lately. So it's interesting to see who finishes where and who draws who in the playoffs. Right now, as we sit here today, the playoffs start tomorrow, the Kings get San Jose. I'm more worried about Anaheim and Chicago than I am about San Jose, but that could be arrogance on my part. Because San Jose's beaten the Kings in the playoffs before, decisively. But it's a new year, it's a new team. The Kings have won the cup now. It's going to be a very interesting last 2.5 weeks here. And then the playoffs start on the 30th. So, whatever happens in the West, I'm pulling for the West because the West has been the hot hand this year, in my opinion. And I look forward to the Western Conference Finals and then whoever wins that winning the cup. It's going to be a West year, I have a feeling. Alright, I also threw out a question to all of you guys, and I got a grand total of 3 responses! Woo! Y'all suck. 3 responses. 1 from JJ. So really it's only 2 because the motherfucker sits 2 feet from me on a daily basis. If you didn't answer my question, I have to smack him upside his head. I could probably reach him here if I use my Stretch Armstrong arm for a second. But seriously, come on, I've been gone 2 months. I throw out a legitimate question, and I get 2 non-house responses. Come on, man. That's some bullshit, Alotto. And I used it. I used it on the show. There you go, Jay. All right.
Pinky will be proud.
Yes, you're right. She will. Once she gets back. Okay. I threw out, because it's been a hot topic of debate around here and around the wrestling world because people talked about the 2013 Hall of Fame class being the greatest Hall of Fame class of all time. You had Bruno Sammartino, Bob Backlund, Mick Foley, Booker T, Trish Stratus, Donald Trump. And I beg to differ that the 2005 class was better. You had Hogan, Piper, Orton, Orndorff, Jimmy Hart, the Iron Sheik, and Nikolai Volkov. All major players in one way or another at the first WrestleMania. And that was the whole reason behind that class. Hogan was going in, Piper was going in. They figured go ahead and throw in as much of the WrestleMania main event as they could, and then throw in, the first tag team championship winners of WrestleMania, and the manager that wasn't heavily involved in WrestleMania already, Bobby Heenan, was already in, so they threw in Jimmy Hart as well, because Jimmy Hart was a big player there too. King Kong Bundy won for him in 9 seconds, allegedly. JJ pointed out something very interesting in the fact that other than Hogan, that was a heel class. Because the way that most of those guys made their big name in wrestling was as a heel. Roddy was Hogan's top adversary. Orton was right there with him. And even he turned against Roddy later. And then started as a heel by turning on Ric Flair in Mid-Atlantic and helping cost him the World Championship and put him on the show for a few months. You had Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov, the 2 foreign sympathizers. You had the Russian and the Iranian, who were very anti-American for a number of years. Iron Sheik still is half the time, for Christ's sakes. He lives here and he's still very anti-American. Jimmy Hart, who was the sneakiest little rat manager, and Mr. Wonderful Orndorff, who for the most part was a heel. He had a little brief babyface run in WWE in 1985, early 86, but it was mostly a heel class except for the almighty immortal Hulk Hogan, and that made for a great class, I thought. But again, I was there. I count personal bias toward me being there, just like I was. 2008 was a great class. In reality, 2008 wasn't the best class at all, but I was there, so whatever. But 2 people argue with me, and I'm not a fan of their arguments. I'll tell you why. I said and why. And all that Mitch Mitch Ulster _D6 said was 2013 because of Bruno. What? That's it? There's a program called Twit Longer for a reason. You can do more 140 characters. I get 4 words. And then Andrew Duggan 62 said 2013 Hall of Fame, it was better than last year's, which I will agree with. Plus this year's WrestleMania was very poor. Crowd very dead. Nothing to do with what I asked. I asked what was a better class. 2013 or 2005. So thank you to JJ for a formulated, decisive, clear response that actually required some thought. And the rest of y'all, pick up the slack next show. I will post a question on Twitter for next show, and if y'all come through, then we'll see what happens. If not, then we'll see what happens. But for now, I'm wrapping this up. I'm done with this shit. And I appreciate you guys, again, supporting me, the ones that have supported me and stuck with me and didn't turn it off when I started ragging on you. I appreciate that. But for right now, this is Jeff Meacham for One on One saying we will see you guys next time.